Pay attention to this lesson. A lot of you fall for this mistake every single stream. Every stream you make this mistake.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at him. Let's go.
This is your deck. Okay? It's like that. But when you look at your deck, you're seeing a couple holes. You're trying to patch the holes. Like, I gotta patch this, I gotta patch that, a little patch that, a little patch this. And then guess what? You patched every hole. You counter everything now. You're the perfect circle. Actually, you're a weak, crappy circle. Even though you think you patched every side, I could just bust right through your perfect circle because it's weak. It's weak. It is much better. Instead of having a weak, crappy, average circle, think of this. Jack of all trades, but master of none. That means you do everything, but you do it average or below. You don't excel in anything. It is so much better, instead of having a crappy circle that they're going to brute force with any deck, to instead have something like this. You have a super reinforced circle, but with one giant opening. The back door. This is better than this. This is how I get first place global in multiple KC Cups and Worlds qualifiers. This is how I qualify for Worlds more consistently than any other player in Duel Links. And we're talking real Worlds. The last real Worlds was 2019. They keep canceling it because they know I'm going to just win the whole thing. What this means is, oh, no, Jinzo. Oh, you've heard it. You've seen the freaking comments where they go, your deck's bad because it loses to Jinzo. But then I literally beat everything else. Everything else I beat. They hit, they bounce off the thing. I crush everything. Oh, no, Jinzo. Oh, no, Water Exceed that no one plays. Oh, no, what about that other deck? Oh, no, your deck loses to Necro Valley. Oh, no. That's how you're making bad decks, because you're trying to protect yourself from Jinzo, Water Exceed, Necro Valley, and then you have a crappy little circle that you lose to other decks that are not those. Where I have a reinforced circle that beats the majority of decks, but then lose to the obscure, rare cards and decks. Okay? Now, if you are in a tournament and losing means you get knocked out of the tournament, it's okay to have side deck cards. Have a side deck card for Jinzo. Have a side deck card for Water Exceed. Have a side deck card for Necro Valley, because you can't afford to lose. But in Duel Links, in the KC Cup, in the most prestigious event of Duel Links outside of the MCS, you need to build your deck for a high win rate. High win rates. Mate, a high win rate. If you try to build a deck that never loses, you end up losing anyway to average decks. But otherwise, you go for the high win rate and you purposely lose to the obscure trash. It does not matter. Okay? And to get high win streaks, high win rate, and how you're going to be qualifying for Worlds. All right? This is why generally for big events, I do prefer to play something incredibly consistent. So looking at two of my first place global decks, one being ninjas. This is a perfect 10 ninjas, 10 spell and traps, knowing that I'm going to have the most consistent draws out of many duels. Now, there have been times, I believe, with the ninja deck itself, I would have a 10 lose streak in a row. You have to have the perseverance, and you have to know when you are in the right, not in the wrong. And what is the best way to learn that? It takes experience, it takes practice, it takes analyzing your own games, it takes looking at other good players, how they're playing. The best thing you could generally do is make sure you're in a Discord community like Duel Links Meta, talk with other players, watch the events, watch the streams, have your replays be commented on, have them be reviewed, check other people's replays being reviewed. And you will also see that this was my other first place global deck. This is balance. This 100%, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it was guaranteed. If you play at least 5 of a card, you are guaranteed. So it was actually guaranteed 1 spell, 1 trap, and 1 monster. That's how balance was back in the day. They did change it. It was only 5 cards to guarantee. And that's another example of me choosing to build an incredibly consistent stronghold circle, even if we have a bad matchup or two, to make sure I have something super consistent, and that's why you'll do very well. Another good example of a first place global deck was playing Red Eyes. Red Eyes was a good deck that got first place global because it was such a linear deck, but it consistently got the Red Eye / Dragon. You equip a Power of the Guardian to it. It negates targeting effects, but then so many people will be like, oh, but it loses to this, this, and that. So what? The deck consistently did what it did, which was summon a / Dragon equip, and that's another good reason why that deck did so well. Another great example of a first place global consistent deck that had a wide open weakness but was built to beat the majority of players and to do so consistently was this. This is an anti-meta deck. What was this deck built to do? To consistently beat the most played deck, the Tier 0 deck. That's right, Tier 0 did not get first global. But 6 Sam was Tier 0. Look at how 6 Sam was built. This is what Tier 0 looked like. And the deck was all about summoning the Shien. They summoned the Shien, so this deck was built to use the Sazank on flip to send the Shien to the graveyard. The Shien would protect itself from destruction, but by sending it to the graveyard, you couldn't protect it from destruction. Or have a Cypher Soldier that would gain 2,000 attack and defense when battling against a warrior, which is the entire deck of 6 Samurai. The Cypher Soldier and the Sazank had no other synergy with the rest of the deck. This was built to do one thing, to beat 6 Samurai. It did not matter the rest. Where is my photo? Where is it? It is right here. This gaping hole did not matter. Oh, but it loses to this, this, and that. It does not matter. These were all the 6 Sam players trying to go in. And that's why he got first place global, and that's why I was getting first place globals, and that's why I will continue to do amazing. And you will also do amazing with this advice. I'll see you at the top of the ladder in the KC Cup Worlds Qualifier. Let's go. So you do want to ensure that you have this mindset with Duel Links. If you're a TCG player and you go into events, I know that the temptation to have that perfect circle, it's so tempting. You do want to do it, but you have to know that this is a different type of game. When I played in the TCG, every round 1 was ridiculous. You would know it. If you go to a tournament, a regional, a YCS, round 1 would be some craziness, like Galaxy Eyes Photon. Galaxy Eyes, which was not a good deck in the TCG when I played, that's the kind of crap you'd play freaking round 1. And you can't even prepare for that. And if you lose round 1, it is downhill from there. I would even play against freaking Morphing Jar decks. Morphing Jar, flip, we both discard our hand and draw 5. Guess what they do? They set it, then they activate a card to flip it up. We discard, we draw 5. They activate a card to flip it down. They activate a card to flip it up. Flip it down, flip it up, flip it down, flip it up. End their turn, guess what? My deck is gone, and I lose. I lost to that round 1 of a freaking tournament. I still topped that event, but I'm not going to then put in my main deck and side deck something that stops a Morphing Jar. Are you kidding me? So hopefully you liked that demonstration of how to build decks. Also, I want to generally say for YouTube videos, I like to pretend to be Bob Ross. You all know what Bob Ross is. Bob Ross teaches you how to paint. Well, I teach you how to duel. Bob Ross does not paint you the whole picture. I'm making that up. Maybe he does. I don't know. But I try to give you the base. I want you to fill in the rest of the painting. I give you a base consistent deck. You want to put Book of Moons? Fine, draw in some happy little Book of Moons in the lake, in the sky, in the bushes, whatever you want to do. You want treacherous? That's great. You want to put in your own spice? That's great. That's why I try to build, in a way, a lot of my many decks are criticized for being bland. 3 of everything and then 2 to make a 20. Well, I do that on purpose just to show you the concept of the deck and make it work. So edit my face on Bob Ross. Let's go, Fools.